Big shout out to all my stoopers here with me. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. We got a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. But we're going to go ahead and get this thing popping. I mean, we got some good topics to talk about tonight. We're not really doing them new music. We're not going to do a new music review. But we're going to talk about a lot of stuff just going on in music in general. You know what I'm saying? And we'll listen to, maybe a few things. You know what I mean? Just to get our listen on. But, big shout out to you. Thank you for being here with me. You're on the front stoop. You know what I'm saying? And listen, you guys can see what's in the title. We're going to talk about 50. We're going to talk about Pop Smoke a little bit. Spike Lee and this whole thing. We got a good conversation about that one. There's a lot of stuff going on in hip-hop we're going to talk about. So we're going to get right down to it. I got Isaiah, Guillermo, JJP, NYC is in the building. You know what I'm saying? So, let's go ahead and get to it right off top, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here with me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Make sure that you share this out on all your social media. All right, let's go. Isaiah, Guillermo, I'm about to go ahead and get you guys unmuted, man. What's going on with y'all, fellas? How y'all feeling, man? I'm good. I guess, man, we can continue the conversation we were having over on NBK, and we can just pick it up right here if that's what you want to do. Let me get you guys unmuted. There you go. We can kind of finish it up. Finish that up before we get into everything that's going on. You know what I'm saying? Talking about the whole Spike Lee and MSG and Charles Oakley situation. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing is crazy, and we talked about a lot of it on NBK, and I think most of the people that's here is from NBK, but anyone who's, who joins in later on or comes in or watches the replay of this video, basically is this. If you don't know the story, Spike Lee went to Madison Square Garden when the Knicks played the Houston Rockets at the Garden. He went into the entrance that was labeled employee, media, and persons with disabilities. This is the entrance that he's gone into this entrance for 28 years. Right? According to Spike Lee. When he went into the entrance, they told him he could not enter there. An argument ensued where Spike Lee, you hear him yelling, you're gonna kick me out like you did my brother Charles Oakley, and Spike Lee ended up having somebody else, whoever it was, escort him to the seat. At halftime, him and James Dolan spoke. We don't know exactly what they spoke about. Spike Lee didn't like a statement that the Knicks put out to the fans, so he decided that he's going to go on ESPN and tell his story. And then it got even bigger from there. After he went on ESPN, the Knicks went on Twitter, and said, that they've spoken to Spike many times about going into the right entrance. They just want him to go to the VIP entrance. He's welcomed at the Garden as long as they go through the VIP entrance, or he goes through the general admission entrance. They showed a picture of the entrance. They showed a picture of Spike Lee and James Dolan shaking hands. The whole thing is crazy, right? So, that's basically the story right there. Who's right, who's wrong? I mean, I don't like what Spike Lee did. Maybe the Knicks could have had better communication. Who knows? To me, Spike Lee is just trying to have his cake and eat it too. He's just being a brat, basically, the way I feel about it. But what I don't like is this. And I wanted to jump right into it because it's important. It's just important to me. You know what I'm saying? I hate it when people talk about it, right? So I was on Facebook, scrolling through Facebook, and I seen a tweet from Mark Berman. Right, I didn't even know. I hadn't known because I've been out, doing stuff all day. I didn't even know that Charles Oakley went on ESPN this morning and commented on the entire situation. Right, and in this situation, he basically says that MSG's ran like a plantation. Okay, and that something needs to be done about it because it's being ran like a plantation. And it just triggered me because I wasn't trying to do any videos on this whole thing because I thought it was childish, so I didn't want to, just do a separate video. But I was like, you know what? I want to comment on this. And this is the comment that I made. This was, kind of in short. I didn't go as deep as I would have liked to have gone, but I want to talk about it here. Right? I said this. I said, I didn't want to comment or do anything on the Spike Lee stuff, but I feel compelled based on what Charles Oakley said. He said, I'm tired of hearing NFL and NBA leagues, etc., being compared to slavery. It's utterly ridiculous. These athletes get paid millions to play a game, literally a game, right? On top of their millions, they get endorsements and they get carte blanche. They get carte blanche almost a lot of them, the big name people, even some of the no-name guys still kind of get carte blanche. They fly on private jets to games, equipped with amenities. They get food that, despite all the money that they make, they still don't have to pay for. Food before the game, food after the game, food during halftime if they need it, food on the jet, food on the train, food on the bus. That's paid for by the organization, paid for by the fans, right? If they don't like the owner of the team, they can choose to quit at any time. They can choose to quit. They can choose to quit. They don't have to worry about being chased by a slave catcher. They don't have to worry about going to jail for escaping slavery. They don't have to worry about walking into a building, walking into a store, and having somebody say, let me see your papers. They don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. They can use the money that they make. They can use that money. They can change their careers. They can start a business. They can choose to further their education. They can do all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things. You know what I'm saying? I mean, now tell me, what slave had these freedoms? What slave had these freedoms? They did not. You know what I'm saying? And it just bothers me when people compare it. I understand what they're saying, but it bothers me when they compare it. Because to me, I feel like this, right? If you believe that these sports leagues are akin to a slavery, akin to a plantation, right? If you actually feel that, then stop watching. Don't go to the games. Don't buy the uniforms. Don't buy the jerseys. Don't buy the hats. Don't do any of it. Because if you actually feel that it is like slavery and you are watching it, then you are just as guilty because you're participating in it. That's how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous. And I hate when people say that because, if you want to talk about comparing something to slavery, let's talk about mass incarceration, right? Compare that to slavery because that is slavery. All right, let's talk about the prison complex, the prison industry. Let's talk about the prison industry, right? And how they use black and brown people that's in prison for cheap labor or less than cheap labor, right? What they get, $2 put on their commissary per hour or something like that, right? Let's talk about that. Let's not compare 15 players in the NBA getting paid no less than $1 million per season or $2 million per season, whatever the league minimum is, slavery. When you can choose to get up at any moment. You can be in the middle of a game. You can walk to the locker room and go home. The most you're going to have to do is give some money back. What's your take on that, man? Anybody, it don't matter.
You want to go first, Gammo?
Yeah, I'll say this, man. Like I said with Oakley, he needs to get help. I'm really angry with how people throw literally any things about race. A lot of these people we talk about so-called supremacy. You have a lot of people in the so-called black community who are opportunists, right? They use that to their own liking, right? To bring up these things, right? So again, James Dolan, to run down his history, look at the people he's hired, right? We talk about all these Knicks coaches, blah, blah, blah. But if you look at the Knicks failures for how many years, a lot of that is a black face in terms of the guys who've been running the team, whether it's been the coaches, and James Dolan has given them opportunities. James Dolan, like I said, has not boycotted anybody like the NBA has done with the two guys I mentioned, Craig Hodges and Abdul Mahmoud Rauf, or Mark Jackson, who still can't get a job when he was with the Warriors, won 50-some games, helped build that team, and got kicked out unceremoniously because of his religious views for a league that's supposed to be woke. So again, say what you want about James Dolan. He's not a good owner. But to sit there and play the race card on him, you're digging a new low, bro. And it's embarrassing because all these people on ESPN, like I said, they hardly point out the fact that this guy's hired black people when all Stephen A. Smith wants to do is hire this black guy, this black guy, this black guy. But the Knicks have been doing that for years, and no one gives him that credit. So that's that. And then Spike Lee, this is what I get mad about. He's a big walking hypocrite. He had an argument with Michael Rappaport on gentrification, right? And Mike Rappaport was like, yo, how can you talk about the so-called hood or whatever when you haven't been back or whatever, right? And in my head, I was going with Spike because it's like, don't matter if you leave the hood or not. If you still have a heart and passion and your people are still there and you have a connection to the people, you can talk about the hood all you want. You can talk about the ills that have gone on, right? What Spike has done is try to position himself as a person of the people. But if an organization has been telling you, hey, they've been telling you for months now, and you've been ignoring them, that's privilege, right? The same white privilege that Spike Lee talks about, all white people, privilege, blah, blah. That same privilege you have because, again, like I said, MSG is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. If something happens security-wise because of how lax they were, you are not going to sit there and pay restitution to the people that have been affected by it. It's going to be on MSG. It's going to be on the shareholders. They're going to take the brunt of it. That's your privilege. You go out on the court, and this is speak also to Oakley too. Again, go back to all the slavery times, Arabic slavery, where they'll kill the man. They would, excuse my language, they'll rape and brutalize the women and the children. Jamaican slavery, bug breaking, raping the slaves. American transatlantic slavery, as all the ills you just mentioned. Slavery in Brazil. Even go to even what's happened. It's not necessarily slavery, because it's akin to it. What's happened? King Leopold, the Belgian, when they took over, I think it was now I'm running out of it was a Congo, whatever, where they'll cut people's arms if they didn't do certain services. If I went back and asked any of those victims before any of those things were going to happen to them, would you rather have this, or would you rather sit at a stadium with popcorn, food, and watch entertainment? 10 times out of 10, they're going to take the latter versus the former. So to sit there and compare it to what people have gone through, where people have lost their culture, their identity, their sanity, and say that's slavery, it's an embarrassment. It's even embarrassment. I think if it was ESPN that had this interview, it's an embarrassment that they actually aired this. This should have been cut off or whatever. Whoever had this platform, it should have cut off. And Spike Lee, you're a big walking hypocrite. You talk about everybody else having privilege, but you use your privilege literally to get to box or to get to front court seats to enjoy a game. So you can't say and talk about all this. And you sat there and you want to be arrested for what? So it gives you publicity for what? There are people now, I know people now that they are not say they're scared of police or they're whatever, not say they don't respect it, but if they had a situation, they're probably emotional. But when they run into police and it doesn't entail them being arrested or anything out of the norm, they're not going to sit there and tell the police, oh, okay, the police give us a ticket. Arrest me now. Arrest me. I don't get an effort. They're not going to do that. So all this thing that Spike is doing is all for show. He's an opportunist. He's using real race relationships, racial situations in this country to kind of galvanize and say, oh, yeah, I'm a victim. I'm this and that. Him and Oakley, it's like there's these two idiotic opportunists, and they both look bad. Now, if James Dolan told us on the day of, okay, that's not cool, James Dolan. At least tell me ahead of time. But if he's been telling you this stuff for how many months or weeks, and you're not following it, and then you shook hands with them and you settled it, and that's that, and you're still in the court, like Isaiah said, that you're still there. If someone abused you, harassed you, you're still in the court enjoying a courtside seats. Come on, bro.
Yeah,
this is garbage, man.
Yeah, and like it was Charles Oakley who brought up the plantation thing. I don't know if Spike did that, but even if they told him the day of, bro, it's an entrance. It is an entrance. Just use the other entrance. Use the VIP entrance. You know what I'm saying? But, this whole thing that I think Larry Johnson, way back in the day, a long time ago, in the 90s, was one of the first people. I don't know if he was one of the first people that brought it up, but one of the first people to say it in public, in an interview, that, the NBA is like slavery, and playing for an NBA team is like being in a plantation. And I think at the time, Larry Johnson was part of the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? Even then, at that time, at that time, I was like, You got it wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I just it is so disrespectful to me when you look at it, when you're talking about a people, like you said, that lost their culture, lost their religion, lost their language. You know what I'm saying? And is now stuck in this generational oppression that is not just oppression of, you know, someone holding you down physically, but now is a generational oppression that is part of the makeup of your brain now, right? It's part of the makeup of your mind. You know, and people just don't get it. People don't understand when you talk about fathers not being with black children in black communities. Why do you think that came from? It came from slavery. You talk about generations of you know, slave masters selling off
Breaking
the
up
fathers,
family.
selling off fathers, right? Selling off the buck. That's what they call them. Selling off the buck, right? Instead of now the mother's there to raise the children. You know what I'm saying? Selling off the buck, and then and this happens generation after generation. And then you got the Civil War, where fathers, you know, black fathers went to fight the war for America. Right, and then when finally, slavery is admonished, abolished. Right now, you have the whole mass incarceration, right, where because it's still, you know, the law is that, you know, you can't be enslaved unless you have been convicted of a crime, right? If you are convicted of a crime and you are imprisoned, then you can be treated as a slave. That's basically what it turns out to be said in the 13th Amendment. That's basically what it says. You can't be, one person cannot own another person. You cannot be enslaved unless you are convicted of a crime. Right. And so now that gives you the whole, you know, that gives, you know, white America then, and white America today, the whole reason to say, well, okay, so we can't own you and have you in slavery, but we can find a way to make you a criminal. Then we can imprison you. And then we can give you all this work that we want you to do so that we can make money off of your back.
Yep.
And you still can't go anywhere. We still have you imprisoned. And we still have you under our control, right? So now you got all these fathers away there, right? And this is generation after generation after generation. And every generation, the importance of a father gets lessened and lessened and lessened, right? You know, and that's just one aspect. That's just one thing that I'm pointing out. And obviously, there's so many.
There's so many levels, Sim, before you even consider a game being oppressive. Think about this. The NBA they're playing today is not even as tough as the NBA that they're playing back then in the day when they were getting paid $50,000 a year. Basically, they had to work a job in the summer. The NBA is not even that tough. These guys are bums are literally getting paid what working class people would hope they could get paid for the rest of their lives in a span of 1 to 2 years in terms of what the NBA players are getting. Some of these guys are getting paid, right? Yeah. I just get sick when I hear politicians, when I hear dumb celebrities, or celebrities, period. When they use these terms, they use these what do they call it? Keywords, not keywords, but these trigger words, right? Because then it invokes stuff. Right, it invokes this stuff, and it's the same ESPN. I don't know if Charles Oakley did the interview on ESPN, but if he did, obviously ESPN they've lost a lot of integrity over the years. The same ESPN, they got on somebody for saying that same quote. It was a football player who said the same thing about slavery, blah blah, but they allowed Charles Oakley to come on and spew this crap because everybody wants to get James Dolan out. We got to find a way to get James Dolan out. And like I said, to me, I'm conspiracy theory all the way. They're trying to get James Dolan out. You know, don't be surprised if you hear something coming out about James Dolan, some Me Too stuff or whatever, blah, blah, because it doesn't make sense why these guys are coming out with such a non-incident. And they're using these trigger words like slavery, plantation, and all that stuff. And I on ESPN, I didn't hear nobody complain about these quotes and say, all right, these guys are going over the line. I see Ramona Shelburne, oh, the Knicks, They didn't even talk about, and this crazy thing, they didn't even talk about R.J. Barrett's superlative night against the
Yeah.
Rockets. Everything was, oh, the Rockets, are they good? They didn't talk about, oh, crap, R.J. Barrett. I saw a breakdown on, I think it's B-Ball or whatever on YouTube. At least he gave credit and said that the Knicks find a way to basically show how you beat the Rockets in the playoffs, and they gave props to R.J. R.J. Barrett is a number 3 pick in the draft. I didn't hear these guys talk about it, but they're talking about Spike Lee not getting preferential treatment. The same woke station that talks about black this and black that, they're talking about a guy not getting preferential treatment and allowed that to be compared to slavery. This is buffoonery, man.
Crazy. JJP, man, what do you think, man?
Yo, shout out to everybody. What's going on, y'all?
Good,
Yo,
man.
Y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, it could be a little bit louder, but it's
quiet,
good.
Yeah.
Say what?
If you could get the volume up a little bit, it'd be good.
Oh, damn. All right, give me a second. Let me try it on the. See if I take this up. Well, I'm gonna just talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
Later. I don't know, man, because with Spike, he could be a potential business opportunity for me in the future.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
That's cool. You don't even have to talk about that. Let's talk about the whole.
I'm not gonna say how or why or when, or where.
Well, let's talk about the whole just.
But I can still talk about it.
The NBA leagues and NFL being compared to slavery. Talk about that.
Entertainers and athletes always go the plantation/slave route whenever they feel like they've been wronged. But the thing that bugs me out is that they never take the time out to make their own league. You know, even if you get 2 or 3 guys together and say, hey, let's put the plan together. Let's make a 100-year plan. This doesn't have to come into fruition with us. It could be coming to fruition with our children, our children's children, children's children, so on and so forth. Nobody's ever, at least as far as I know, that's not happening, right? So I don't, and it's the same thing with entertainers, especially Hollywood. And I always say this about Hollywood actors, or people who work within the industry in general. They don't have, and which is something that's much easier to actually produce, especially today. You can make your own Hollywood, but it hasn't happened because it can't. It hasn't happened because they don't want to. They want to have somebody be able to bring out a limo for them, bring food, a jet, whatever kind of transportation, so on and so forth, all the little amenities that come with that. While they're, because they come, most of these people, they come from the hood, not so much today, where you have more and more athletes who are coming from, from like $1 million homes or $1 million families, but still, that in comparison to the owners, they pretty much make nothing. I will say this about Spike and Dolan. I don't think it's a rich person problem. Spike in comparison to Dolan, Spike's a pauper in comparison to Dolan, but I don't like Dolan. They're Trump supporters. Everybody knows that. It's not a secret. Which I don't care, because there's no difference between Trump and Obama to me. But that's a whole nother story. I'm not going there. Every president's the same to me, and I'll get a lot of backlash for that, but I don't care. But yeah, it's that whole slave thing, man. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I understand where they're coming from at that moment. It's just like 50 talking about racism, but then with the whole Star situation went down, and it's a whole bunch of people always go the racist route where they never, ever, 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 ever talked about any kind of black issue whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Or when black issues do come up, they either stay silent or they say, "Oh, why?" They put out the obligatory "why can't we all get along" type of statement out, or on their Twitter or their Instagram or whatever it may be. So, I mean, it's just the same thing over and over again. And Oak is my guy, man. Oak is my guy. Excuse me. That's my guy. I don't know if he has an alcohol problem or not. I'm always gonna back Oak or Spike, regardless whether it's a business opportunity or not. I'm always gonna back those guys, but you all know the Knicks got a problem with PR. That statement was ridiculous, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't give the Knicks my money. Shout out to you, Sim, for doing events for the fans and whatnot. I personally, I'm not gonna give the Knicks my money because I'm tired of them rubbing. I'm tired of them rubbing shit in my face and telling me it's chocolate. I'm not gonna do that.
Right. I feel you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I'm not gonna. You can't piss in my face and tell me it's rain. It's not gonna happen.
Uh-huh.
I haven't gone to a Knicks game since 2005. It was against the Cavs. LeBron didn't play, so I was pissed. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. But yeah, it's a ridiculous statement. These people go straight to slavery, and when they're being wrong, I feel the same way about Kaepernick. He was a little different, but he got paid to stay silent. It was what it was, but I can't get down on them too much. Well, a lot of athletes too much because I don't know what they do behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know what's happening with them behind the scenes. But collectively, I really don't see, individual achievements or what you do for your community individually is not as impactful as what you can do as a unit, as a group, collectively. And I don't see much of that going on, whether that's athletes, entertainers, them together, separately, what have you. I don't see it. So to come out with that, that's ridiculous. But I'm not a supporter of ESPN. I'm not a supporter of James Dolan. And with Spike, he is what he is. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I got to say about it.
No, I feel you, man. The whole thing was just the whole thing was just ridiculous, man. It was really childish and petty on both parts, I think, man. I just, Charles Oakley come out and say that. It just bothers me it just bothers me, man.
And I'm definitely not gonna give any kudos to to Stephen A. Smith. It's just not gonna happen, man. This guy,
right?
He's a known coon. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not gonna do it, man. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. So yeah, I pretty much support no one on the whole situation.
That whole situation, yeah.
No, yeah. I don't support any of that. Yeah. That's it.
Well, look, I'm gonna take a quick phone call. You guys are still gonna be live though. I'm gonna take a quick phone call because this guy calling in probably wants to jump in on the situation. Then we'll go talk about. He just logged off, so never mind it. We'll talk about some other stuff. All right. Speaking of the whole, just talking about, I guess, political type stuff, if that's what you want to say. Well, let me get to another call. We got a caller calling in. They probably want to get in on it. Caller, you live, man. What's popping with you?
What's up, Simmons? Savvy, how you doing, man?
Savvy, what's going on, man?
Oh,
what's up with
Lord.
you? Hey, Savvy. Hey.
Quite well.
You falling asleep.
What kind of reception is that? This guy sounds stressed. Why you sound pressed, Guillermo? Anyway, whatever. I ain't here to talk to Guillermo. What exactly was the topic just recently?
We was just talking about, we would talk about the Spike Lee thing. We would talk about how sometimes athletes compare the NFL, the NBA to slavery, plantations, and stuff like that.
Okay, great. I'm glad I'm getting through in time to still chime in on that, because there was something that somebody said just now that kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, and I found it strange.
All right.
He said that there's he can't observe the difference between Trump and Obama. So it's like I take it with a grain of salt. But he said that these athletes come out and they compare certain things that happened in their careers through slavery, and that athletes like, I think he said 50 Cent or somebody, when the Stars Network was given in trouble, was saying things, and that they shouldn't say things because they don't speak up every time something that violates civil rights happens, and so they shouldn't speak up in those moments, or that somehow that discredits those moments. And I just wanted to point out the fact that anytime there's a moment where a person, especially a person of color, because it's not always even a racial thing. Sometimes it's just a classism thing, right? Anytime you see economically that people are being devalued, even when there's a fiscal calculable value that they bring to an entity, even when there's laws and practices and traditions set in place where somebody brings in a certain amount of value and they start to gain a bit more equity and power within the structure. When you see these tendencies get violated, and you see people look like they're not afraid to look like they do bad business, that is because of remnants of how this country was founded. Like, when you exercise power over another person like that, to the point where they have to speak out or try to fight for it, that is exactly what's happening. There are several remnants of slavery and times immediately after slavery, right, that show up in our economic systems today. There's a reason why people who serve in restaurants depend on tips to get by. And that itself is rooted in the fact that it used to be a slave job to be a server because it was a service job. And they used to justify not paying them because of their race by saying, oh, that's okay. Like, you just go and you give great service and they'll tip you enough money for you to get by because they're rich and you're poor and we made it that way. So I don't understand what is so strange about pointing out the parallels that take place now. Of course, the power is diminished in being able to harm these bodies. But when you see people exercising unjust power over another that they would not exercise against somebody who is not of that race usually, or they do exercise against somebody of that race because that person is not as powerful as they are, that is because of this entitlement to power over others that is absolutely a remnant of that. And so we are in an age now, and I'm almost done. I'm sorry to ramble.
But hold on, but I just want to jump in for 1 second, Savvy, because to me, the thing is this. If you don't like the system that you're in, like any job in America, right, besides like human trafficking, which is slavery, okay? I'm talking about if you get paid to do a job, whether you get paid through tips, whether you get paid a wage, if you do not like it, you have the ability to walk up and leave. You can walk out of your job. The only consequence is that you won't get paid the next day.
Okay.
Right?
And I understand that point, and I don't disagree with that point, but here's what I'm going to say, right? At this point, centuries later, right, we could look at the history of the economy and the history of industrialization and deindustrialization, right, where it's gotten to a point where opportunities are controlled. There's no accidental money being made, at least not between the time that of the Industrial Revolution and the time of the dawn of the internet. There was no accidental money being made. Okay. You can make exceptions because of the drug boom. You can make exceptions because of prohibition and things like that. But by and large, if you're making money, people know how much you're making, what you're making, and somebody is in charge of that and in control of that. And it is through those mechanisms that they are able to exercise their power. Now, of course, you can walk out and you can go somewhere else, but tell me something. How many industries are controlled by us? Like, just specifically us? Very few, if any.
True.
Okay. So anywhere you go, you'll encounter somebody who at the very best has to try and sit and listen and imagine what you're going through in order to treat you and consider you in a way that is free of those perceptual filters that get tacked on through socialization that people aren't even conscious of in the moment all the time. You don't have to be a racist white man to oppress somebody through the mechanisms of racism. You just have to be someone who is bought into the system and is playing the game, because the system and the game itself is built a certain way to lend itself towards certain outcomes. So you're right. You can leave, right? And hopefully you do find another job, and maybe you even build your own business. But if you don't, okay, the consequences are steep, because it is not legal to be poor. There are a lot of financial penalties written into the law that punish poverty. And the further you get down that hole, the easier it is to incarcerate you. And we all know the 13th Amendment does not outlaw slavery. It only makes it legal through a very slim margin of possibility where you are being punished for a crime.
Right. We talked about that earlier.
So if being poor, it becomes a crime, and you become poor, you are getting closer and closer to that snare that traps you in and brings you into the system as a state-owned slave, who also, by the way, are taxed for their wages, the little bit of wages that they do make for the labor.
Right. But to me, and I agree with what you're saying, right? That there are forms of oppression still in America through our economy, right? Through socialization. There are definite forms of oppression, but still, even when it comes down to crime, you have a choice, and you are free to make that choice.
Okay, and fair enough.
You are free to make that choice.
I'll bring it to this. What is so bad about people speaking out about it?
Speaking out about, I don't agree with. Here's the thing. You're talking about somebody being, and I understand everything that you're saying about a person being, in a sense, you can say it is a crime to be poor. We're not talking about men who are poor. We're talking about men who the minimum wage they can make is $1 million a year. We're not talking about somebody being poor. We're talking about someone, if they chose to leave the NBA, many of them will be set for generations anyway. And they have the money to go out and further their education. They have the money to go out and start businesses. Right? So we're not talking about someone who is in a lower socioeconomic, who is on a low socioeconomic level. We are talking about men and women. Not women as much, right? The WNBA, they don't make a lot of money. So we'll keep it to the NBA, NFL. Right. We're talking about men who are making millions of dollars. What is the minimum income in the NBA? What's the minimum wage? The minimum salary.
It's got to be somewhere near $300,000 or something, right? Last time I checked, I think it was somewhere around there, right?
Well, if you get a guaranteed contract, it's like $1.8 million if you have a guaranteed NBA contract. You get a 10-day contract, for $100,000. A 10-day contract, $100,000. I mean, these people are making money, like Guillermo said, that someone who is actually poor may not make in their lifetime. So when we talk about the NBA and the NFL, and we talk about those systems there, that is nothing like what you're saying as far as a waiter or a waitress, who is working for tips, and maybe they don't have the education, and based on the background and the history of their family, right, and the education that's taking place over the generation of their family, they feel like they're stuck, and they've been taught that this is the level, this is the class that I am at, so I'm going to stay in this class. Okay, so they decide to be a waiter or a waitress, and they're working for tips. They're not making a lot of money. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about men who are making millions of dollars.
Okay, think of it this way, right? Because I'm glad you brought this up, right? Of course, the people who have made it and are established are enabled and powerful enough and wealthy enough to go and leave the system and branch out on their own, and hopefully it shakes out well for them. But if you're an NFL player, let's change the sport. An NFL player, how many of those guys go broke immediately after leaving the sport, right? You never know how much money you're going to need in the future, especially in a capitalistic system like the one we live in. And I'm not going to go further into that point. I'm just going to switch over and say now that for every single one of these guys that you talk about that is making this money, this unsecured money that is dependent on their body's performance, that can be lost at any given time.
Well, in the NBA, once you get that contract, it's guaranteed.
For every one of those guys, there is 10 to 15 to 20 or countless amount of people, just like the ones that you described, who work in now as a waitress, who don't have that education, who are depending on them, and who they are feeding. Sometimes it becomes very leechy and snaky, and that's unfortunate. But a lot of them are feeding multiple people, right? And if they were to stop playing or lose that wage or leave because of their own rights or like because of something that they perceive as racist after they speak out, that social punishment could affect them in their business ventures once they leave the league, right? So why not applaud the courage to even say something, right? Because yeah, sure, you can leave, but aren't we trying to advance as a society and change things for the better?
I mean, I'll say this.
Calling things out.
I'm gonna say this, right? And then we'll go on. I don't want to, kill this too much, right? If you really felt that this system was akin to slavery, akin to being on a plantation, right? And you're not just saying it. Okay, it's easy to say a word and say, yeah, I did my part by saying a word. If you really think it's like this, then do something about it. Like JJP said, start your own league then. There's enough money. They got money if they wanted to band together. Some of these guys have, hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Start your own league then. You can. Mm-hmm. You can do that today, right? It's if you're gonna, because to me, they're calling it out just to say something. I'll say this. I'm gonna end it here. And I learned this a long time ago. Right? I was working in a place where they were doing this guy pretty much dirty, right? And they were trying to use me. They were trying to use me, right? This guy, he had been there for years. He was an older African-American gentleman, and he went through. He did everything that they asked him to do to move up in where they wanted him to, where he wanted to be, right? But he always, in meetings, he spoke out, and he would yell about this, yell about that, walk out the meetings, all this kind of stuff. So they were making changes in the organization, and they came to me and said, we want you to be in this position, right? And me and this guy, we were close, and I was like, no, I don't think I want to be in that position because I know that this was supposed to be like, this is what he was doing. I don't know what happened there, but I'm not comfortable doing that, right? And I told him, I said, nope, I'm not doing it. They called me in the office and they said, well, if you don't do it, then you no longer have a job.
Sheesh.
Right? There's no longer a spot for you. If you don't take this position, now this was going to be a promotion for me. They said, if you don't take this position, then you no longer have a job. And I said, well, I guess then I'll be leaving next week because I'm not taking a position. So then I wrote a letter to the owner because I wasn't the type of person, I wasn't going to stand up in meetings and scream and holler and yell. That's not what I was going to. I wrote a letter to the owner. I said, this is what's going on. I went and I met with all the managers. I said, this is what they said to me, right? I don't know what the owner said to the person that was my supervisor or the executive director, but they called me into the office the next day and they said, don't worry about it. You're not going to lose your job. We're going to figure out something else. You're not going to lose your job. But I decided right then, I'm out of there. I'm not going to be here because I don't like what's going on. I'm leaving. right? So within the next 2 weeks, I found another job and I gave them my letter of resignation. Now, they made it a habit of every person that they were leaving that they valued and they thought they wanted to stay in the organization. It was their policy to ask this person, what can we do to get you to stay? Can we offer you more money, more perks, whatever it was, right? And so I fully expected. Now, they were just going to give me a promotion just a couple of weeks ago, right? I walked past them, and they said, I got your letter of resignation. Good luck, right? 2 weeks, I walked out the door. You know why? Because I didn't just scream and holler and yell. I actually did something. I put it on paper, right? I gathered some people together and said, this is what's happening. These are some things that we need to look at. This is what's happening. So I wasn't just running off at the mouth. I actually tried to do something. So they no longer wanted me there, right? Because I wrote a letter to the owner. It's now in black and white. Now they have to send it to the HR department and go through, that whole bureaucracy, right? So they don't want me there. So if you don't believe in something, do something about it. That's the way I feel about it. You're Charles Oakley. You feel like at Madison Square Garden is a plantation. Do something. What's he say? He said, "Oh, somebody has to do something about it." Well, shit. You bringing it up? You do something about it. You organize some damn people. Somebody got to do something
Charles
about
Oakley,
this.
Charles Oakley don't work for them, and Charles Oakley can't just go to the HR department because he goes to the HR department. He can't write a letter to the owner because the owner's the guy he's claiming
but
is the plantation
you're gonna tell
owner.
me he's the legendary Charles Oakley. You're gonna tell me that Charles Oakley can't go to the NBA Players Union and say I want to be part of the Players Union if he's not already?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but that in and of itself is a whole discussion about how much power the Players Union has compared to the owners themselves.
I mean, I'm just saying, man. But my thing is this. If you're gonna say something like that,
you walked out.
Huh?
A lot of us do walk out still, and we take whatever consequences come with it. Some people find something else, and some people don't, right? But why is it like a taboo to say something about?
I'm not saying it's a taboo to say something. We're talking about, what they're saying it about.
You didn't say it, but that guy said it.
No, but we're saying what we're saying. We're talking about what they're talking about. We're talking about the NFL and the NBA and comparing that to slavery. I think I'm just not with that.
I feel like there's a more compelling argument for the NFL in that regard than the NBA, because the NBA, to me, is comparatively more progressive. Okay. But they still do subtle things to remind you, throughout society and career and industry, to remind you who's really in charge here. Okay.
All right.
And when grown men point it out and have a problem with it, I feel like it's only natural.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, just a couple more minutes. I don't know, JJP. JJP, did you want to respond to Savvy? We're gonna move on and talk about some other stuff.
There's a lot to respond to.
And I know we may have to do a whole nother show on this because there's a whole lot to respond to, right?
I'll keep it short. I wouldn't say that. I'll start off with the last part. I don't think the NBA is that much more progressive. I think it has better symbolism.
It's my guy. It's my guy. Right?
They roll out some low Knicks every now and then, low Suns, things like that. And most of the people, and most of the players, they're not even us Hispanic or Latino descent, but whatever. Anyhow,
I agree with that. That's true.
This is my guy.
Whatever, but I will say that touch on the Oakley thing, man. The people who normally are saying something about the issues that black people have in this country are the people who don't have the money to do anything about it. It's always the people who are on the lower end of the totem pole, and you need it's fine if the people with the money don't say anything. We don't want them saying anything. We just want them to finance, us getting better, us doing what we need to do to progress wherever we are in the world, not the country, the world, because white folks have an understanding about white supremacy. White supremacy is a global thing. So if I go to France, they have their own version of white supremacy. I go to Germany, they have their own version. You come to America, we all know that version. So I'm not saying we have to have black supremacy. What I'm saying is that we have to have an understanding about where we want to be as a people globally, and let that be a version of wherever we are in the globe. But when we get together, we understand that we have to be on the same accord somehow, some way. We have to have core principles as to how we come together, how we codify. So, I mean, that's all I really have to say on it. I'm not gonna touch on the Trump Obama thing, like I said, there's a whole other story. But yeah, but that's all I'm trying to say, Savvy, is that in terms of 50 Cent saying something, again, they only say something when it's them in trouble, and then they expect all of us to come to their beck and call and defend them. But when we are saying something, the people on the lower end of the totem pole, when we are saying something about, hey, these cops keep busting me in the head every time I drive out into the street, they're quiet. They're quiet. You know what I'm saying? They're quiet. J. Cole by himself is not the only one who could go to Ferguson and make a difference. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. In that regard, I would like to, at some point in the future, hear your thoughts on Jay-Z's position, because he's done kind of both.
Hold on a second. It's much more impactful if you see 50 Cent on the streets of Ferguson than you do J. Cole. Not because J. Cole is not a difference maker, he's not nobody, but if you see Cole and 50, and then even if you throw Future in there, you know what I'm saying? That's impactful, because at least fans of his is like, oh snap, Future's there? What does he have to say? What is he doing? Even if he doesn't say anything at all. You see what I'm saying? So that shows that people at some point we came together. We're on the same accord. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. So let's, Savvy, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you calling in. Real good conversation. We probably went a little bit deeper than maybe we wanted to, but that's all right. It was a good conversation, enlightening conversation. We're gonna keep it on. We're gonna keep it on the topic of 50 Cent then, since we brought up 50, right? And
50.
I'm get the big Freezy. Freezy probably gonna have a little bit to chime in there. I wasn't sure if Isaiah could keep up, so that's why I didn't go to Isaiah. I just wasn't sure, Isaiah. All right, wasn't sure if you could keep up with everything that was going on.
You were right because you're sleeping.
But so 50 said that he's going to executive produce Pop Smoke's posthumous album. What do you think about that, man? What do you think about that, Guillermo? And Big Freezy, you're live now.
Do you want to comment on Big Freezy? You haven't said anything yet, so I want to.
I can't hear you, Big Freezy.
Can't hear you, Big Freezy.
No, still can't hear you. Yeah, he probably got to fix that. Go ahead, Guillermo. We'll let him get that fixed.
I mean, I don't have the craziest thoughts on it, man, but what it seems like is that he's trying to. He wants a little bit of that pie. He wants a little bit of that money that might be coming through on a Pop Smoke thing, because it's not. I mean, I don't recall any relationships Pop Smoke, any notable relationships Pop Smoke had with 50 Cent. And look, 50 Cent's a guy. He's all about getting his money. He's trying to get by to the shows, which I respect. Look, the production stuff he's put on, but let's be honest, we know what this is. It's kind of a cash grab. It's not like 50 Cent was always shouting out Pop Smoke like, "Yo, that's my bro," and then there was this relationship between 50 and Pop Smoke, like that. He was a mentor and all this other stuff. So it's just. I mean, it is what it is. If it helps get the music out more efficiently or quicker, You know what I mean? It's cool, but he's looking for him for himself. He like the payday. Pop Smoke is a guy. Look, you get paid more. What is dead rappers get better promotion, like Jadakiss said.
Yeah,
Oh, Styles said, excuse me.
it's
So
true.
it is what it is. He's just
true,
feeding
right?
off of that dead rapper promotion, that hype that Pop Smoke had, and he's gonna get a few dollars from it. Some royalties.
Now, why wouldn't I haven't heard anything from Pop Smoke's people, right? Why wouldn't they be like, just be like, hold up, what you mean, like? Where is this relationship coming from that all of a sudden you feel like, you want to executive produce his posthumous album? I mean, maybe because that's all it is. That's all that it is.
Someone's saying that he definitely had a relationship with 50 Cent, but from what I saw, I didn't really see that or hear about it. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll admit it. But from what it seems like, I didn't really see it. So, and a lot of these guys that we so-called think are, I won't say good people, but less venomous people, they'll take advantage of any artist or whatever. They'll make them sign bad deals or whatever. So, I mean, people say there's a relationship. I didn't see it. I don't recall Pop Smoke shouting out 50 like that. So, I don't know. Someone got to educate me with some proof that these two had a good relationship. Because where's a connection for 50 Cent to step in? And also, if royalties aren't going to his family, 50 Cent's eating more off this album than his family is, or his estate is. He probably doesn't have an estate, but off his family, I'm assuming, then that's some pretty foul-ish, man. That's some really foul-ish. And we've seen this in the industry where family members who deserve to be getting what the dead loved ones, could provide, posthumously in their death, they're not getting it, but some exec, not Joe Schmo, but some exec that, is not related or whatever comes in and is eating off it. So that's how it seems to me, because I don't know. But if you can educate me, Mr. GQ NYC, please tell me, because he's saying that we're bugging, but, I didn't see it. Sim didn't see it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. I mean, obviously, I didn't know a whole lot about Pop Smoke. He, was kind of just new on the scene. But I had never really heard about, them two having that kind of relationship, like that close of a relationship. I will say this, though. I definitely could have seen Pop Smoke be a G Unit member. Like, be on G Unit. I could see that.
Because you know why he's not a follower? 50 Cent likes followers, bro. Because remember, all the guys who so-called lasted the longest with G Unit were guys who were followers. 50 Cent's a guy, he's a classic general where you got to follow under him, and if you try to be on the same level as him, it ain't good. I mean, you saw what happened in the game. I know it was back and forth between those two. That didn't work out, but guys like Tony Yayo, I just make a song here and there and just be my hype man. That's good. A guy like Banks was all about lyricism and didn't really want the spotlight like that, just wanted to be a lyrical rapper. He was good. Young Buck, I mean, he was, a guy who kind of did his thing with the South, but he was a guy who had demons and spent a lot and was using, kind of need 50 Cent as a crutch, a guy that will follow under him, So 50 Cent, Pop Smoke was his own man, like in terms of his own thing, like he's as weird as it sounds. He was a leader for, I guess, his Wu group, rap group, or whatever.
I agree with you. I think 50 Cent is in a different area of his career now. Where like, when's the last time 50 Cent put out an album? He was supposed to have an album a couple years ago, but he couldn't get any buzz for the album to really get it out there. I think he's in a different area of his career, and he would, like, Pop Smoke could then be the face of G Unit while he kind of sat back and I'm gonna produce it, I'm the label owner, blah blah blah, and all those type of things. I think maybe he's at that point in his career, because you look at he's making songs for like soundtracks and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think he's more at that point of his career.
You don't want to be associated with a dead label.
Well,
and D Public Enemy pointed out something really good, because 50 Cent, he rides this from D Public Enemy. He likes to ride young rappers, right? He did it with Soulja Boy, he did it with Jeremiah, and he did it with Tekashi. So, I mean, 50 Cent, all these guys are opportunists, but the whole relationship thing, if it was genuine, I just kind of find it hard to believe, because 50 Cent, I think, was just trying to ride the wave of these young guys. So and also G-Unit is kind of dead. So I think Pop Smoke didn't probably want to be associated with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. 50. I mean, G-Unit is kind of. I'm just saying, like, I could have seen, like, let's just say G-Unit was still kind of doing whatever. I could have seen, like, because when I look at Pop Smoke and the way he came into the game, we talked about this before. It reminds me of when 50 came in, right? Like 50 came in a moment where things were kind of soft. And so, you know, his aggressiveness, you know, although some of his songs, you know, he did some songs that was kind of soft.
Became soft.
You know,
yeah.
Yeah, it became soft. Like, you know, you know, but you know, the aggressiveness of his album though, you know, just kind of, you know, cut through. And I think Pop Smoke was doing that same thing, just like, you know, his aggressive sound just really kind of cut through all this other stuff that's out there. And why I think he was gonna, you know, he was ready to take off, you know, whether or not you like this music or not. I think he was gonna be ready to take off, you know, because it was something different than everything that was out there. You know, and the aggressiveness of it, you know, kind of hit home. And I kind of liken their careers to that. I don't know if he would have went the way that 50 went with his music. You know what I'm saying? Because 50 basically, you know, he told Ja Rule, oh, you singing on everything. And then 50 came out, started singing on everything. You know what I'm saying?
Broke my heart, man.
You know, it's the candy shop. I was like, come on, 50, huh?
It broke my heart, man. Like, 50 Cent, mixtape 50 Cent, man. And his first album, like, that was... Yeah, I was so hyped for like, yo, this is a new dude. And then when he started doing stuff like Candy Shop, I said, oh. And even I hated 21 Questions, but it was like, all right, I'll let that one go. But then when he started doing Candy Shop and taking off his shirt, trying to be a set, I was like, okay, I'm good on this. This is trash. But yeah, man, these guys in the industry, man, you've seen it with the Puffs. You've seen these guys, man, they'll take advantage of anything, man. So all that genuine relationship stuff, man, I just see dollar signs for these guys. These guys, not to say that he would have hoped that Pop Smoke would die or anything. I don't think is that crazy, but these guys don't care, man. They'll take advantage of anybody.
Yeah, man. So we'll say, hopefully, you know what I'm saying? If they've truly had that kind of a relationship, you know, I mean, listen, he's going to make some money, but hopefully most of the proceeds would just go to Pop Smoke's estate.
Yep. Hopefully.
Take care of his people. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I guess we will see, you know, and he's already, I guess he said something about set for release in May. You know, we'll see what's up, man. We'll see what's up. Big Freezy. Still can't hear Freezy. Still can't hear him. I don't know what's going on with it. Isaiah, man, go ahead, man. Pop Smoke is your age, so go ahead. Tell us what you think about it, man.
Stop. Pop Smoke is not my age.
Can't hear you neither. Unmute yourself.
Me?
No, I think so. In a Big Freezy.
Yeah. Go ahead, Isaiah.
No, Isaiah's muted. He muted himself.
Yeah, Pop Smoke, man, with the whole 50 Cent thing, you know, that's it's not the first time 50 Cent has done this.
Can't hear him.
With an artist and everything.
Or maybe I muted him. My bad.
You know, 50 Cent. You know, he's an opportunist. He does that. He does stuff for a paycheck, but you know, I'm not gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna be surprised if he got paid a lot of money to host his album and everything. We're gonna see, man. We're gonna see about that. Yeah, man. It's Pop Smoke, man. This kid was young. I don't think he knew a lot of stuff that was going on. You know, I don't think he knew a lot of stuff that was going on with the music industry, the more business side. So hopefully 50 does the right thing, and you know, there's a big check that goes to his family, so that, like, you know, I heard things about his family, like, you know, he, like, the mother had to cut a loan out for her house because he went to jail and he didn't have money like that. So I don't know. So there's a lot of things with Pop Smoke. You know, he wasn't really rich. He was going towards them, but he wasn't really rich yet. So
well, of course he wasn't. I mean, he was just starting. So no, he wasn't really rich. So hopefully, you know, 50 is, you know, he put his I guess musical brand behind it. Hopefully, is, you know, it'll push it. I mean, honestly, without 50 though, this is my opinion. Without 50, you know, with him passing away, the album coming out was gonna sell anyway. I can guarantee you that.
Right.
without 50 putting
Oh
anything
yeah,
behind it.
100%.
It was gonna sell anyway. You know what I mean? So
And one thing I want to say real quick is someone made in the chat that 50 Cent was gonna put other artists and other stuff. Pop
Yeah.
Smoke and the whole Wu movement, all that stuff. The thing about it is that you got to realize, I think these new kids, once they're like new paradigms and waves that come through, right? They don't necessarily want to do all these collabs with some of these established artists because the sound is just not there, right? So the way they rap or whatever, you know, would they really care if a Big Sean is on a record? No, they probably don't even want a Big Sean on a record. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, people say, oh, you know, executive producer. It's, you know, that's why I find it seems like more of a money grab because, all right, 50 Cent might know some artists, but let's be honest, this whole Wu movement, the Wu versus the Chu, that stuff kind of blew up really off the basis of guys like Fabio and Pop Smoke. They didn't have any real established guys that be like, yeah, you know, these guys help build out a new brand. So, you know, all that stuff about, you know, put on new artists, I just find that kind of like not really a plausible thing. They don't really need him.
Yeah. So he's trying. So Roddy Ricch, Chris Brown, people that he reached out to on social media at least. You know, you know, we'll see. It looks like, you know, on social media, it looks like, you know, some other people like Snoop was like, yo, you know, highlight me about it too, da-da-da. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Now, the thing is this: if, you know, who knows how much he had already recorded? You know, a lot of times when a rapper passes away and they're putting out an album, they only have, you know, you got to get other rappers on there to fill out the rest of the album. You know what I'm saying? I guess we will see and find out in May. Guess we'll find out in May. I don't know. Jadakiss's album is dropping this week though, and we're gonna see. You know, listen, I'm excited for the album. We'll see what it is. Now, you know, I been listening to a lot of interviews, and he said the album is kind of like, he said it's gonna be. He said he tried to make it an album like you gonna clean your house to. You know what I'm saying? It's not something you're just gonna go out and just be, you know, you gonna bump it at the club and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
That's what means wax him.
Huh?
You can't. I listened to a Jadakiss album and want to clean my house. Like, good dogs. Like,
well, I think he said there's a reason why though.
Right.
Because of, you know, the death of his guy.
Yes.
Who he named the album after. So it's kind of it's more like a reflection album. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know.
So
he was like,
I respect that.
I just don't want the lyrics to be compromised. Like when you listen to Jadakiss, you want to be lyrically stimulated. You want to be able. You want to make ugly faces. You want to be like, ooh, what the hell? Why? What the? Like that's how you feel when you listen to him. You listen to Coogee rap. You want to go back and rewind parts and be like, oh my gosh, what the hell is wrong with this guy? But in a good way.
Is the song he has with Rick Ross, is that going to be in the album? Does anybody know?
Yes. So I got the track list. I got the track list right here.
That song is nasty. So
is that the one you played, Tim?
That's the one that I played. That's the one I played. I like the joint.
This joint is fire.
I know. Guillermo was a little, you know what I'm saying, was a little bit questionable about it. You know what I mean?
I can't remember. No, I was questioned about the one that it was like the one he was talking about, like a chick or something like that. Like it was like a slow, like a not like a love song. It sounds corny, but like it was like a slower paced song. I can't remember which one, but I was like, I don't think that was the Rick Ross one, was it?
Yeah, the one with Rick Ross had some singing in it.
Oh, that may have been it then.
Yeah. So here's the track list right here. I'm gonna read out the track list. This is the track list. The first song is called Pearly Gates. He's got 13 tracks on the album. He's got Pearly Gates. Second song is Hunting Season with Pusha T. All right, we listened to some of that the other day. Another song is called Keep It 100. Catch and Release featuring Justin Jesso. Then he's got Me, I don't know if you heard Me. I heard Me. Me is a pretty dope song. He got Anime Skit. I don't know what that is. NYB Need Your Best featuring Ty Dolla $ign. Angels Getting Pedicured featuring 2 Chainz. Kisses to the Sky, that's a song with Rick Ross and Imani, however you say his name. You got My Condolences is a skit. Then you got Government Cheese featuring Dej Loaf, Nino Man, and Millie's. You know, Millie's that white dude with all the tattoos. Millie's is actually nice though. Millie's is pretty nice. And then you got I Know featuring John Legend and Closure featuring Chase. So I've heard 2 of the songs. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it's going to be.
Kisses to the Sky is dope. I'll take it. It knocks in the car, bro. That I know.
I mean, that's what he said. He said he wanted an album that you're going to sit back and you can just go on a long trip and ride to. You know what I mean? Because of the type of album that it is, in memory of his man, you know, the type of album that it is. He said it's way more reflective. You know what I'm saying? Right. A reflective type of an album. So we'll see, man. There you go, Freezy. There we go. We in business now. He said it's more of a reflective type of a joint. So we'll see what it's gonna be like, man. I'm looking forward to it. And so my plan is on Friday when it comes out. Hopefully, it's gonna come out midnight, and then I want to do an initial review right at midnight. That's why I didn't do the review tonight because I want to save that till Friday, and then just talk about this stuff tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Jadakiss is one of my favorite artists.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? So I'm definitely looking forward. Have you heard the song Me?
I was listening to the Kiss the Sky thing to remind me which one it was. I just think I was annoyed with that guy singing, but I'm listening right now.
So what's up, Freezy? What's going on with you, man?
Hey, what's up, man? What's up, fam?
Oh,
what? Can y'all hear me? I'm good.
Yeah, Me was a short because I saw the short. I saw this. Hold on.
You saw what?
I didn't know it was a video. I just saw where the white dude and the dude from The Wire were just talking with talking about like the diamonds, whatever. I didn't know that was a short film. Because I remember when I commented, I said that Jadakiss needs to do more movies, or whatever, like, or be more of a voice actor because he has such a rich voice. That's where I got it from. So I didn't know that this was all a video.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. So I mean, and then I'm gonna play Me. This right here. This is by Jadakiss. It's called Me. This was the first single on his album, right here. So this is called Me.
This is hard. I like this.
Samples already crazy.
I'm listening now.
You got here no more.
We good. Once you get, I don't even care. Now I gotta get the sample.
No matter, it feels so beautiful. Don't you agree? Kiwi, what's up, baby? Now let's go. As soon as they hear the voice in the flow, they already know it's. And I ain't even in the game, but as soon as something happens, the first one they blame is. Give your time, you a lame. Stop mentioning my name, my nigga. Why you worry about? I'm in a group meeting. They took pick from us. Now it's just loose peeing. I'm the one they call on. Gotta feed the family. If not, then it falls on. Who else? This is real talk. Funeral arrangements. Whoever put their paws on. Who be in a Wrangler? Off-road nigga with the roof and the doors gone. And who else be in the field? Front line till the war's gone. What they talking about? Me. Who they talking about? Me. All they talk about is what they talking about? Me.
This D is glorious.
All they talk about is
chills,
what
man.
they talking about? Me. Who they talking about? Me. All they talk about is what they talking about? Me. Who they talking about?
Yeah, so that right there, that actually came out before Kisses to the Sky.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that came out
sample
first, I
is
believe.
glorious, man. That's a glorious beat right there, man. Like you feel it. I love when people put the heart into fast beat productions, man. Like, yeesh.
Yeah. That joint is hard right there. So, and he said the entire album is gonna kind of be soulful like that. You know what I mean? Have that soulful feel.
Okay. All right.
You
now
know,
I gotta
so
check this out. Man.
I'm looking forward to this joint heavy, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh
heavy.
yeah.
I can't wait.
Jada's back now. Oh man.
Looking forward to it heavy, man.
Sometimes when you just lose hope, man, you lose hope in rap, and then because again, Jada could just rest on his laurels. He doesn't have to do anything. He's considered one of the nastiest spitters, but it's just nice to see the older dudes put effort into their music, man. Like I love this. I'm gonna definitely check this out because that beat. Once I heard that sample, me and JJ, we were saying the same thing. Like, damn, we haven't got to hear anymore. Just hearing that little sample.
Right, just hearing that, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
You already know it's gonna be crazy
on the song. I really don't care anymore. I just want to hear the beat. Just, woof. I love that shit.
And
that was fire.
I was sounds like it's gonna be a new Locks album coming out too.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He did an interview. See if I can pull up the interview.
I don't care what anybody says, man. I'm a Sheik Luch fan. I don't care.
You're Sheik. Whoa. You're supposed to say it the other way. First of all, the best out of the group is Styles P.
I'm not saying he's the best one.
What?
I'm just a fan.
What?
I know people gonna kill me. Styles P is
come on, dog.
I'm not saying.
Come on, dog. Come on,
I'm not saying Sheik is the best one at all.
I'm from a place where your man that hit you, bounce to Atlanta, hit with you on a roll, let them cannons hit you. Boy, we also foul, but I ain't trying to blow no. Yo, come on, man. Styles P is mixtape. Styles P, you can't. Nah. He's just he just wasn't a studio rapper. Like his studio albums is like, but his mixtapes, nah. When he was doing stuff with not so Trey was it Trey Williams, I-95 and See What I See? What? Nah. Go everybody in the chat, please listen to See What I See by Styles P.
Ain't nothing wrong with being the second best rapper in your group, dog.
Come on, bro.
Ain't nothing wrong with being
Jadakiss is an assassin, but Styles P was the lone, like he was on that
He's nasty.
Oof, come on. Styles P was giving you visions. Like
I'm not knocking him. I'm not saying that he's not good. I'm just saying
I know
standing next to Jay ain't nothing wrong with being second.
Nah, you bugging. You bugging. Yo, again, guys, this same guy who said that what's this guy's name? Big Daddy Kane was a garbage.
Oh my gosh.
This is who we talking to, Sim. This is he disrespected the legends.
Come on, Freezy, you did say that. Freezy, you
I
said
did
it,
say
bro.
But
you said
on the
it,
strength of
Freezy.
listening to the dude for his entire career.
Huh?
I listened to the dude for his entire career. The dude went from being the nastiest spitter in the game to some dude that just was like, yo, I know I was the nastiest. I'm just gonna go be average for the rest of my life.
Damn, after that, JJP, see your man. Come get your man, son.
Yeah. So listen.
I'm just saying. I'm not gonna get back on the Kane thing again. You know what I'm saying? Because it is what it is. Y'all know. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know my man was nasty at first, and then he just, you know what I'm saying? He just, you know what I'm saying, went to being mediocre, and y'all know that. Because I know y'all don't have that third and fourth Kane album. I know y'all didn't buy him.
I know what you're talking about. Like, I know what you're talking about.
He was in a jean jacket, rapping.
You know,
in like
he's
the
talking about like the albums
hardcore.
After he started messing around with Madonna.
Madonna.
And all that, right?
Yeah, she sucked out all. She took all his soul out. She destroyed.
But
Kane is not whack though.
He didn't. He admits that, but he, you know. His words, not mine.
That's what he's saying now. But if you look, there are witches in the industry that if you do anything with them, they will destroy whatever essence you had. Erykah Badu, Madonna, the Kardashians, they suck the soul out of.
But did y'all ever go back? Did y'all ever go back and listen to the raw cut with him and Coogee Rap? Did y'all ever go back and listen to that?
I think I did. The one because you mentioned this on the day that you were issuing on what's the name? I think I YouTubed it.
On Kane.
Yes, the one Kane and Coogee rap. And you said that Coogee rap was better on that.
Right. So, but I didn't really get on Kane, man. I just wanted to say, man, my man Jada, how can you say he not the best dude in the group? I love
you know what it is,
and I love Styles P. But what I'm saying is, when it comes down to it, I just think Jada stays in the pocket more consistent.
You know what I'm saying? Like Jadakiss, to me, what he said, one of the greatest lyricists. I never take away from him. But a lot of drug talk, as fascinating as it was, I couldn't relate to it as much as some of the imagery. And yes, Styles P did talk about that stuff too, but he talked a lot about his brother, avenging his brother's death. Like a lot of stuff he said to me was like, it was more. I like people who put things in like they make it like a picture, like a movie. Like I felt like Styles P's words, I could close my eyes and envision like a movie to it. Like I could see the cinematography. So you saying that you prefer.
So you prefer the storytelling over wordplay? Yeah. That's a preference.
Sometimes. Yeah, it's certain rappers that is like Big L. Big L, I think to me kind of did both, but that's different. But guys, people like Styles P, and the way that Styles P did it too, a lot of samples that he used, right? It was so rich in terms of like trying to bring out what he's trying to say. It was just like it was like perfect. It's just that it was mixtape stuff. It wasn't studio album stuff. Now, studio album stuff, obviously, right. Jadakiss, the first one, was it Kiss of Death? Or Kiss the Game? No, Kiss the Game Goodbye. I mean, he had, I don't know how many slammers, disgusting songs on that album. It's just, Jadakiss is a beast. They all beasts to me, but,
I'm gonna tell you, when I get in the gym and I be tired, I be like, man, I gotta hit this treadmill. No matter what, I can either play that Eminem joint, Lose Yourself, or We Gonna Make It, and that'll get me in a high step to the treadmill. You know what I'm saying?
Just that violin part, like that begin. Once you hear the bass play, you got to get ready because it's just.
We Gonna Make It. That's like our hood anthem. That's officially the hood anthem.
So this right here. Hold up. Hey. Oh, all right, Isaiah. Yeah, you heading out?
All right, man.
All right, see you, Isaiah.
I got work in the morning. Good night, y'all.
All right,
man.
So this right here, this is Jadakiss doing a little interview talking about the Locks album coming up.
We got new Locks coming, but we ain't gonna get into that. And it's real.
I ain't even asked you the question.
We actually about to shoot the first single for it, so that's how real it is. It's really a real thing. It's coming. Locks album, Locks documentary. That's gonna make you shed a tear. I guarantee you. Mm-hmm. And just look out for that. We coming. So Raspy, D Block, new Luch, new P, new Locks, new me. We got new Locks coming.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. He said they got a documentary. Now, apparently, there's a few people got some documentaries coming out. I think at the Tribeca Film Fest, I think DMX got a documentary that's going to be there. So we'll see what's going on. But I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming up with the Locks, man. I miss the Locks.
That whole era, DMX, the Locks, man, freaking Money, Power, Respect, 24 Hours to Live, like. It's damn it. And you just mentioned the DMX documentary. I don't even want to. DMX hurts my heart, man, because it's just. I want him to do so well, but it's just that he got those demons, man. But
yeah, man.
Did he ever squash the beef with K Solo?
DMX?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think they ever squashed that beef.
Man, I don't think so. These dudes like 60 years old, still beefing on some. Man,
I don't think so. I mean, you don't even. I said something about K Solo somewhere.
I gotta say, DMX has to have one of the strongest like physical. This dude has been taking drugs.
Yeah,
and he's what, in his 50s, probably 40s, 50s.
Yeah, he about around my age, man. That dude, he need to slow down, man. But still,
yeah.
I mean,
well, the drugs don't kill you, man. The drugs don't kill you. It's what happens around the drugs that kill you.
Oh, well, yeah, that's also a good point.
The drugs don't kill you.
Well, if you're snorting enough coke, you'll probably get a heart attack. So,
well, he's probably just doing crack.
Just crack, right? Well, but you're right though. Crack doesn't kill.
You be seeing crack forever, bro.
How did DMX literally? It was DMX, Jay-Z, DMX, and it's like you allow Jay-Z to do like.
But he was always on that from before. You got to remember, he was a recluse before he blew up.
Right.
Well, how good is Jay-Z anyway in like terms of historic?
Let's not go there.
I agree. I agree.
I heard Guillermo the other day, and he was absolutely right. The dude copied everybody's style along the way and picked everybody off. And he just had this survival thing. And along the way, he did have some banging joints, but people forget.
He was just more disciplined. He was more disciplined. That's all.
Bro, he had a lot of luck. If I told you, if I said, Sean Kemp, I'm gonna put you in the era of Sean Kemp, but you don't gotta play against Malone, Jordan, Shaq, the Knicks. You don't gotta pay. He had so many guys go out because Big Pun, Big L, DMX, even Nas, when Nas was doing the whole label stuff for Columbia, and he just kind of faded up to obscurity with terrible albums like Nostradamus. When you look at Jay-Z's ascension, he's had a lot of luck, and he was able to hop from one personality to another personality to another personality, and steal bits and pieces from here and there, and then declare himself essentially. I'm not to say he's the greatest of all time, but like basically establish himself as the top rapper. Go out with Beyonce in the 2000s. It's this whole he moved on from hip hop to pop. It's just I don't know. Jay-Z, don't get me wrong, one of the greatest, but he ain't the GOAT. He's more bluster than anything else in regards to.
So I disagree with you with the thing about Nas, man. Nas albums, man, had some backfill, some songs on there. Like if you just listen to them completely, you know what I'm saying? So Nas had some good hip hop head songs on his album. I don't think he necessarily catered them to pop, but cats that like wordplay and like the street life bravado storytelling, style. Nas had some great albums if that's what you like. Now, if you wanted them to be all pop, like him and Genuine all the way through, it's like my man said on the other show, on the other Front Stoop episode, I'm not really feeling that. I like when people flex their talents. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you. I was just saying versus Jay-Z, because remember, the big thing that pushed Jay-Z was Hard Knock Life. That song, the Annie song, pushed him. Okay, no, now he can make pop hits. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Nas wasn't making good music while Jay-Z was ascending. I'm just saying that Jay-Z, and it's unfortunate because now it's crazy. We look at pop we look at hip hop through somewhat of, or people look at hip hop through a pop lens, right? Who's the greatest rapper? The majority of people are gonna say Jay-Z just because he was the most visible, had the most. Whatever type of hits you want to call them, you know what I mean? The most, I guess, relatable or pop. I don't say pop, but more, mainstream crossover type of. It could cross over into that stream of music, right? His collaborations with Beyonce and all that stuff. Versus there are guys out there who are putting out great hip hop songs, great hip hop albums that we as hip hop heads be like, yeah, this is. I want to hear this over a Jay-Z song, but other people be like, oh, that's not, whatever. So that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying Jay-Z ascension as the so-called top rapper. But most hip hop heads don't call Jay-Z. Not say most, but a lot don't call Jay-Z the top. Like Sim will tell you right here, Rakim's the best, right? And I know that's his era, but there are people who probably younger than Sim who probably say, yeah, Rakim is better than Jay-Z. But
I could Jay-Z is. I go back and forth. I would say Nas.
I didn't even remember Biggie died. Tupac died. Tupac, Big L, Big Pun. DMX essentially faded away. That's five Hall of Famers who literally didn't play during someone's era, and that guy or stopped playing, and then he was just able to doop.
So basically, basically, like
fell out of the game too.
So like Jay-Z is almost like the Golden State Warriors, right? Like they always seem to luck up. Somebody got hurt. Somebody couldn't play against them, and this and that. And they were able to put all these pieces together, and bam, they went on they locked it down for 4 straight summers.
I think a great point though is rap groups falling out of the game, like rap groups splitting up during that time too, except maybe the Locks being, consistent also, because there were a lot of rap groups that was killing it, like your NWAs, like your EPMDs, Wu-Tangs. And so that your Wu-Tang, everybody was killing it up to a certain point, and then there's like this moment of disbandment, and then you see this one solo guy, come through like untouched, and it's Jay-Z, because he had the Annie song, he had Hard Knock Life, but he had another song after that on the next album where he tried to do the same thing, and the song wound up being whack. I mean, not whack, but
also look at who was positioning him. It was Got to give it to Dame Dash. Dame Dash marketed the crap out of Jay-Z. Say what you want. I know they had their beef, but honestly, if it was up to Jay-Z, a lot of these other guys that we mentioned, on his own. Yeah, he. If you see how he dresses when he's up to his own devices, you can sometimes tell if someone is fly by how they dress. When they don't have any, like, no one can tell them anything. They just put on certain things. It's like, oh, this dude, he has natural style versus, he's trying it. I've seen Jay-Z wear, I won't say bell bottoms, but I've seen wear jeans where it's like, it almost looks like Paco jeans. And this was like after the Rockefeller era, where it's like, dude, what are you doing?
I think Jay-Z's always been a nerd, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he's always been a talented
nerd. The streets didn't choose him.
A talented
I say this all the time.
Thank you, JJP.
Didn't choose Jay.
The
streets did not choose him. He lucked up. He fell into place. He got close with the Kevin Lyles, with the Leo Cohen, with the Harvey Weinstein. We're not gonna go there, and a whole bunch of other people. And it came Obama. The list goes on and on. He's a street dude who knows how to finesse and knows how to navigate talk and knows how to position himself. And, respect to that. He's a hustler in that respect. But big guy, like everybody says, Big, Pop, Pun, DMX fell off. All these people just kind of trickled to the wayside. And I'm not saying Jay doesn't have a command of the art. He does. But the streets did not choose that man. I remember when he came out when Reasonable Doubt came out, I was like, yo, what is this?
Like,
people
I didn't think
it was whack.
Right.
I wasn't.
Yeah, it's crazy how they canonize it now, like as like Reasonable Doubt, because you have these stupid trust fund hipsters who are like, oh yeah, I write for this Reasonable Doubt, and I remember this dude from my building had the Streets Is Watching with the Jay-Z. Remember he was at the jeans and the jacket and the I think it was like a dark shirt, jacket. And he had the poster, and he used to have it on his door. And I was like, oh, who is this dude? I remember he had the Streets Is Watching video, which I kind of like because he was outside. Maybe he dissed Wu-Tang. He was like, they were like, oh, these are wallabies. Like, wallabies. He was like, man, get the F out of here with that crap. That was a shot at Ghostface, by the way. But that came out. I started, and it's like Reasonable Doubt. And then I remember in Brooklyn, my brother, my brother's big into rap. Listen, and I used to ask him about it. He's like, yeah, it's Jay-Z. Like, but, it's cool. But they were more into like Nas, Wu-Tang, blah, blah, blah. Like his people, not all people in Brooklyn. But Reasonable Doubt in Brooklyn wasn't like, oh, this. And now it's like, now people are like, oh my gosh, Reasonable Doubt is I'm like, no, his Jay-Z to me got big from that Annie song. Because when that Annie song came out that summer, everybody, it's all not like, and it didn't sound corny. I know it's a very corny sample or sounding sample, I guess you could say. But it was like, and the way he was rapping, I was like, "Oh, okay, now But it was, Jay-Z was always vying to be considered one of the best just in New York. He was always trying to vie for that, and everybody was ignoring. Because remember, it was Nas, Biggie, and even Tupac was getting shot, kind of whatever. But it was those guys that were who were the best out of those guys. Because remember, like Nas came out, he was like a rising star, or a shooting star, a white hot fire. Everybody's like, oh, that's the new dude. That is the new guy who's gonna come in. Because remember, not Leo Cohen. Who's this idiot from Def Jam?
Kevin Lyles.
Russell Simmons was like, because they dissed him. They said, oh, Nas just sounds like they don't want him to be like another Coogee rap. And that's when Nas went like Nas didn't go off on him, but Nas he started picking up. All right, I started proving that he did the live at the barbecue and that stuff. So they were. It was always about, and Jay-Z was never considered in that stuff, man. Like he lucked up so much. But look, salute to him. Like you say, he's a hustler in that. But honestly, he learned the business sense from Dame, stole that, then connected with other people who were gonna kind of elevate him higher. Because remember, a bunch of the rap, the so-called pop industry or media industry, right? A bunch of their kids listen to rap, right? But remember at the time, rap was still being demonized, right? Oh, it's bad. But obviously, these people who say, oh, rap is terrible. They're in their car listening to some of the worst crap, right? Some of the worst rap, NWA, whatever. So they needed a face to connect to. Because remember,
wait a minute. How you gonna gloss over the worst rap NWA? Are you crazy?
He don't mean rap like he don't mean like if they're the worst rappers.
What I'm saying is what they considered, what they put as the worst rap. I'm not saying NWA is bad. What I'm saying is that what they put
can
as
we just not say
rap,
NWA and worse than the same? Hey,
I don't know. I'm not shitting on NWA. What I'm saying is that what they demonize as bad rap or as evil, demonic stuff. I'm saying they in their private places they were listening to it.
Right.
But they needed Jay-Z to be they needed some way to connect to it to be good. Because remember, Oprah said that, I don't listen to anything that says the B word and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden Jay-Z is her favorite artist or her favorite rapper. So Jay-Z lucked up. He was like, hey, I'll be the scion. I'll be the icon for it. I'll be the guy that, I'm the corporate guy. I'm doing this and doing that. So, I mean, that's what it is. But, Jay-Z to me.
Yeah, well, but anyway, DMX. His
I'm sorry about that.
Nah, that's cool. Nah, it's all good because they had their little thing going on, but the documentary is probably gonna be dope,
for the rest of the episodes.
What you say?
We'll refrain from Jay-Z.
For the rest of the episode, right?
It's amazing, and it's amazing to me how Guillermo not just Guillermo, but how we skip over dudes that was white hot in the early '90s, like Craig Mack and your Keith Murrays and your cats like that who were white hot at that same time period.
Yeah, I mean Craig Mack. He had the one joint. It was
that was it.
What y'all talking about? Get down. That's what y'all talking about. Can I get down? Get on down? Or y'all talking about the other
Big
joint?
Freezy, why would you
not get on down, man?
Big Freezy, you see how Big Freezy's trolling? Why the hell would you pick some obscure song from Craig Mack talking about you gotta get down with the get down when you know what his stop it? You know Big Freezy
because it was the number one song in the country, dog. It was the number one song in the country.
Look at him.
That's why facts.
He think he's slick. He trying to smile. He's trying to show off his rap knowledge. He knows which song that we all know from Craig Mack, but he picks "Gotta Jump Up to Get Down" song that no one else knows about.
We talking about flavor in your ear, man.
One on the charts, man. You're not slick, Big Freezy. Come on, bro. See, that's how you smile,
bro. The facts, dog.
Bro, he had flavor in your ear.
I'm saying, how many number one songs in country did Jay-Z have? Like, how many times did Jay-Z go platinum?
Hard Knock.
All right, DMX.
Many times you go? Yeah, DMX, right. Man. Yeah, DMX.
Hard Knock Life was that it's Hard Knock Life.
I mean, because Craig Mack and rest in peace, Craig Mack.
Rest in peace, man.
Rest in peace, Craig Mack. But he was a one-hit wonder. I mean, come on.
Thank you, man. This guy said,
he was a one-hit wonder. Come on, man.
Yo, this Big Freeze is evil. Get down to get down. Who?
I got Craig Mack stories. I ain't going there, man.
Craig Mack.
Yeah, DMX.
The
ugliest dude in hip-hop ever. I mean, I just be real about it. That was ugly.
Slipping,
dude.
I'm falling. That's Slipping.
But
and the song, the other song with the chick, not Renee. That was a song. How's it going down?
How's it going down?
How's it going? Yeah. But yeah, he's the documentary is gonna be called "Don't Try to Understand: A Year in the Life of Earl DMX Simmons." It says the film that documents the troubled rapper's year after a long stint in prison, as he adjusts as a free man and tries to revitalize his career. The honest depiction captures DMX struggling with mental illness, addiction, and fatherhood, well beyond his portrayal as an artist and public figure. So that's going to be a good one right there. He's also set to perform in an intimate setting following his documentary's world premiere. So that's going to be good. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Hopefully he shows up because I remember I bought the not Rock the Bells, the one where there's the old school stuff, like all the old school artists came. This is the one where he got arrested outside. I was at that concert.
Yeah.
It was not Leaders. What the hell? I forgot what the hell the thing was called, but hopefully he shows up to the intimate setting because you can't keep ghosting your fans, man. Because we love you, man. But because I remember Lauryn Hill started doing that, and I saw Rock the Bells, and DMX still has his voice, but Lauryn Hill, I know the whole Bob Marley or the Marley thing happened, but she is terrible. She don't perform her songs the same way. It sounds. She tries to do it in a new way. So hopefully DMX doesn't do some opera type shit. Or,
I mean, but did you hear her latest song though? The song that she had off the Queen of Slim soundtrack.
Nah, is it good?
Man, that thing is beautiful.
What's it called?
That song is crazy. Yeah,
I'll check it out.
I'm gonna queue up a little bit of it for you.
Guarding the Gates.
Yeah, she's not rapping, but man, that song is.
Is it spoken word again?
Nah, man, she's singing. He said spoken word. Nah, she's singing, man. This song is.
I hate spoken word. I hate that slam poetry. I used to hate that crap on HBO, man. Oh my gosh, those.
I check out. This is. I'm gonna play some of it right here. This ain't the. I don't think this is the one. Hold up. Hold up. Let me get.
That's not it.
Let me get the one from the actual soundtrack.
Yeah, could you hear that? You guys hear this?
I can hear it.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Let me see if I can find the one from the actual soundtrack. Let me pull up my. Because I went to the movies and I heard it and I was like, is that Lauryn Hill? Because, you know, Lauryn Hill hardly ever drops anything.
Yeah.
Jay Electronica. I don't know what I'm going to do with them.
Well, I can't mention this name, but so-and-so and Jay Electronica allegedly having an album.
Yeah. But here it is right here.
We never asked Big Freezy and JJP how they feel about that. Cause
hold on. Here, I'm going to play this real quick and then, or some of it.
I don't care about Jay Electronica. But anyway.
You're crazy.
All right, ready?
Come on, man.
I don't care.
Obviously, it's it's not up tempo.
Everybody wants to know where you're going to, what you're running from, what you're going through, where you're coming from, what you're going through, where you're coming from. Everybody wants to know what you're gonna do, where you're going to, cause they wanna come where I'm showing you. Yes, they wanna come where I'm showing you. All that you can be is a spectacle, following after every single miracle. Watch them marvel at all the joy you have, but it's so important to have all the joy you have. What a tragedy. You can laugh at me, you can laugh at me, but I'm in love. Yes, I'm in love. Don't you wish you had real love? Yes,
I just played that part there because I don't want to get any copyright claims, but that's from the Queen of Slim soundtrack. You hear the whole thing. It's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, man.
Miss Education Lauryn Hill still the bar was set too high, so not saying that's not a good song. It's just you got
to hear the whole thing. You just heard that. I mean, it gets.
I was listening to it when you guys told I was listening to it, but and I'm not even issuing on it. It's just Lauryn Hill to me. She always have a special place in my mental discography or whatever of her, but I don't think we're ever gonna see anything like that album again, man.
Nah, probably not. Probably not.
What?
But I mean, if you listen to that whole song, that song could have been on that album. I'll say that. I think that song. If you listen to that whole song, that song could have been on the album.
Well, speaking of female rappers, I see Freezy. You in Snow Hill?
Yeah, that's a.
You are, yes?
Huh?
You
said what now?
Hill? You in Snow Hill? You live in Snow Hill?
No, I don't live in Snow Hill. No, that's a Masonic lodge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a lodge. That's a lodge.
Okay.
But anyway,
I thought you was in North Carolina. Okay.
No, I'm in South Carolina.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say, I don't know if anybody's heard Rhapsody's latest album. I don't know how y'all feel about her, or he don't like her, whatever.
Gamma don't like nobody.
She don't. She's
Wow.
dope. That last album is crazy, man.
Yeah, so that last album, right? Every track is named
three.
after a legend, African American woman in history, right?
Pardon me? Oh yeah. Every song.
Yeah.
But
it was pretty dope.
Whether it's the Beauty and the Beast one, whether it's Layla's Wisdom, and this last one, Eve, they are all fire. I don't know if you listen to it, Sam, but I would check it out, man.
I listened to some of it. I listened.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I listened to some of it. I didn't. Me and my daughter was sitting and listening to it a few times. Yeah.
Okay. Bump it in the car. It's fire.
You could bump Rhapsody in a car? Why'd you do that? You might fall asleep, dude. You don't want to get into a car accident. Chill with that.
But you listen to Rock Marciano?
Listen, if you're not listening to Rock Marciano, if you're not listening,
who's it? It was MH. MH, you see what they did to me? I didn't even want to mention Rock Marciano. I didn't even want to mention Rock Marciano.
He was gonna say, listen to a Rock Marciano. Listen to a.
I don't hate him. I just think, it's just like I was listening to it in the car, and I said, "Yo, I gotta turn this off, bro."
Oh wow!
It's not for the car.
Everybody, go listen to Not One by Rock Marciano. Tell me that ain't back. Come on, man. Y'all bugging. Y'all listen to Rhapsody. Yo, the essence of the black woman is God. I don't. Stop. Okay, thank you.
Right.
Ugh, Rhapsody bores me. I try to give lyrical black female, but she's trying to sound like you're trying.
Nah,
too much.
she can rap, bro.
Too much. No. Hold on. Okay. I never said she can't rap. Now, like for me, like Lupe Fiasco, I don't like him, but I'll never say he can't rap. He can rap his ass off. I'll give that to Rhapsody.
Okay.
But she's boring.
Okay. I don't think
she bores me.
So you like Megan then?
Nah, Megan. Nah, I don't really care.
I like Megan too. She can rap.
Megan Thee Stallion. Nah.
She can rap.
Yeah.
What? But you have to realize that the female rap landscape is bare. I mean, think about it. It's really bare. What? Some girl from Love and Hip Hop is gonna come on and talk about popping and twerking. Like,
I tell this to my wife all the time.
Who is it?
The good female rappers don't do well because women don't support them.
Most women enterprises that try to match up with men, look at the WNBA. The biggest watch of the WNBA are middle-aged men, not women.
Mm-hmm.
Not David Stern. Adam Silver said himself, he said, our biggest problem is trying to appeal to the demographic we would think would want to watch this. And he said, the people watching most are middle-aged men for some reason who like so to me, all these women, that's why I was like, look, I'm not sitting here saying that we should talk and say that man should preach about beating women, and not that we do really, but calling women the bees and all that stuff automatically. But let's be honest, a lot of ignorant stuff that we rap about, a lot of stuff you talk about with the UK Brooklyn drill and that stuff, a lot of people like it the most. You go to some of these clubs are women.
Yeah, go to a Griselda show. Go to a Griselda show.
That's true.
They love this. So it's like
fine ass women there. That's what you gonna see.
And they like this ignorant stuff. Yo, come on. I'm just saying. Someone said listen to Layla's Wisdom. I'll try, man. I try to listen to Rhapsody, man. But people came at Rock Marciano, and Sim still has not reviewed a Rock Marciano album. That hurts my heart. So, that's okay. Can I just say this one song, Sim, and can you at least play it? Can you at least play this one song, and then we'll see if people don't like the song, if it's whack.
I'm not saying he's whack.
No, because JJP, I don't like his energy right now, and I got to try to offset that. There's a lot of disrespect.
Put on some Benny, man.
You can put on Benny, but can we at least listen to Richard Gere? You can at least put Richard Gere by Rock Marciano and tell me at the very least that beat doesn't get you on a certain mindset. Like, come on, man.
Jay, is this dude better than Roddy Ricch?
Yo, you said
no, they're not even in the same realm.
Okay, all right, because I didn't want to waste no time, man. I mean, down here, Rod bumps down here.
Someone said Chain Noir. Have you guys heard of Chain Noir?
She's dope too. Yeah, she's dope.
Actually, if they're female artists that are nice, I would actually listen. I think you guys could suggest
she
names.
got a song, or she might have a song with Rod, if I'm not mistaken. She might, because her 38 Special, they like in the same 38 Special, Benny, Rock Marciano, they're all in that same, like, you know.
I'll try listen. And again, another,
I like
because Sim doesn't like this dude, but his beats be banging. West Side Gun.
Man, you know, like I said, I can only listen to so much. That's all I'm saying.
And you know what's funny?
I can only listen to so much.
You gotta listen to other stuff. You can't listen to like the latest because you know he's retired. So when he gets on a track, West Side Gun, he retired. So
Why to do fashion? That fashion crap he's doing?
No, to really like just oversee everything.
He's not rapping anymore.
He's still rapping, but he's not like really. He's not really like putting effort into saying, okay, I got an album out. Wow. I'm gonna do a press run. I'm gonna do a press run type thing. He's like that retired.
Hey, so let me ask y'all a question then. So most of the hip hop you listen to, is it just in your car, or is it just at your desk at work or something, or do y'all listen to hip hop at parties?
No, I don't go to parties.
I don't even go to parties no more,
at
man.
parties or whatever, like they play the ignorant stuff. They don't really play new music for you to be like, yo, what is that?
Yeah,
you know, it's the stuff to just make you dance, grind up, get drunk.
No parties.
Yeah, I'm saying so where I am in South Carolina, man. You know, like the homies that get together, it'd be like 20, 25 or 30 of us in the yard that all know each other, and we'll like play music or whatever and just chill out. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us like to play music, like DJ or whatever. And so we get the newest joints and just play it. It'd be like if the Nothing But Knicks crew got together somewhere and just play music or whatever. So y'all do settings like that, or y'all just strictly listen to raps? I mean, whatever come on through your phone or whatever.
I mean,
I'm all over the place, man.
Yeah, I mean, I just selection got a playlist of songs that I like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then I got artists that I like, you know, a few artists that I really listen to, and then I got some other artists that I grab songs that I like, put it in a playlist or whatever. Now, usually with me, when I have parties, you know what I'm saying, it's usually, I mean, it might be some music playing in the background, but we're not really focusing on the music. You know what I'm saying? We talking, chilling, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. We're not really focusing on the music like that anymore. Ain't nobody, you know, getting up dancing and doing nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? We just kind of chilling, you know what I'm saying? And we usually playing something from the 90s though. 80s, 90s, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Usually that. Yeah. So what y'all think about this? What y'all think about Public Enemy?
Oh, that's right. We didn't get to talk about
that.
That's
a crazy topic, sir.
What's up? Go ahead. We got a couple minutes. I got a couple minutes, you know. Yeah. Go ahead, Guillermo. What you think?
It's the biggest irony that a group like Public Enemy, because this all happened because Flavor Flav basically said that Bernie Sanders is leading a fake revolution, which I agree with. And the funny thing is that these guys grew up as basically an anti-establishment kind of group. Anti-establishment terms in the sense that they didn't like the oppressive government, what they saw as oppressive. And you have this guy, mind you, Public Enemy talked about what? The prison industrial complex, all that stuff, right? Who helped sign the 94 crime bill again?
Joe Biden.
Bernie Sanders.
So why in the hell? If you're looking at this now, we know what it is. We're talking about Chuck D, who he got Professor Griff out because remember what Professor Griff was saying about Jewish people. Leo Cohen took Chuck D on that trip to Israel, convinced him to kick out Professor Griff. Took out Professor Griff. Then this whole Chuck D thing, or the Flavor Flav thing, because what he said about Bernie Sanders, and you guys are supposed to be anti that. So now you're going to be there by yourself or whichever other members are left, and you're going to be sitting talking about fight the power, but you're literally supporting the power. You're supporting the power that's going to be in place of a guy who has a history who doesn't want to give you reparations. Remember, Bernie Sanders, every time they ask him, would you want to give black people reparations? Go look this up on YouTube. You say, he'll answer the question with a question, filibuster, and never answer it. But when there was reparations for Jewish people, survivors of the Holocaust, mind you, we fought in World War II. We weren't perpetuating the Holocaust directly or whatever you want to say. Why would we give reparations? You should give them to descendants of slavery, right? He's not for that. So he's not for that. He signed a 94 crime bill. And yet you're sitting there supporting this guy as an anti-establishment. So it's all about money. Chuck D got a mortgage he got to pay, and he can't talk about certain things anymore, man. Like it is sad how these artists that we used to grow up thinking that they were more than the music are compromised and they're exposing themselves. So it's a sad day, man. Public Enemy, it's pathetic, man. What's happened to.
Crazy.
But to put him out of the group though, is a big deal. I mean, because when you look at like Guillermo said, where you start, like our introduction to Public Enemy was a whole thing about having justice on every level, not just stuff in federal government or in Washington, D.C., but they wanted to correct stuff on Long Island. They talked about stuff about Jones Beach, all these injustices they talked about through music. And then over the years to see them come to a point where their politics determines their relationship, their working relationship, is something that's strange to me, just like what Guillermo was saying. To me, I think it's one of those things where when you start looking at politics and stuff, when it impacts your employment, I think it's just a bridge too far. What they should have did was just chill out. Dude said what he had to say. I'd have came out and be like, listen, I don't agree with his political views, but we still brethren and we still have a working relationship. Right. And the people want to see us together. They don't care about that. Once that man vote, we still Public Enemy. You know what I'm saying? Hey, so it impacts everybody financially, because I don't look at Public Enemy as just Chuck D or some dudes behind him doing military steps. It's everybody in Public Enemy. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's what we were accustomed to seeing, their unity. And then now these dudes get older, establish political views, and all of a sudden it impacts their perception or whatever. Right. And now Flavor Flav, it just don't make sense.
Like Flavor Flav said, you know, it's nothing against, he said it to him, it wasn't even political, Flavor Flav. He said, you know, it was basically, how are you going to put me on something that I didn't approve of? Right. You just going to, you're just going to do a Public Enemy show and I didn't approve to say I was going to be there, blah, blah, blah. This is what Chuck D said. This is a statement from Chuck D. All these statements coming out. He said, Public Enemy did not part ways with Flavor Flav over his political views. Flavor Flav has been on suspension since 2016 when he was MIA from the Harry Belafonte benefit in Atlanta, Georgia. That was the last straw for the group. He had previously missed numerous live gigs from Glastonbury to Canada, album recording sessions, and photo shoots. He always chose to party over work. Public Enemy Radio toured Europe and co-headlined with the Wu-Tang Clan in May of 2019 without Flavor. They have also done numerous benefit shows without Flavor. While Public Enemy Radio was moving forward, Flavor Flav was starring on the reality show Growing Up Hip Hop in New York, where an episode featured his children discussing an intervention and putting him in a rehab. That's out of bounds. They didn't even have to go into that. It's time to move on, and everyone wishes Flavor well. That was just, you didn't even have to go into that. Like, right.
Tim, let me tell you something. Back in the day, this had to have been like 2003, 2004, sometime around there, right? I went to this.
Your mic sounds a little muffled.
Damn. How about now? Still?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, it's better with the
Y'all hear me better over there?
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Okay, so this had to be like 03, 04, 05. NYU had some conference that the music department put together. So it was Chuck, Daddy-O, some music industry guy that was around in Public Enemy era, and some Village Voice writer or what have you. And they talked on and on about how Flavor would be absent from recording sessions or the things they had to do to get him into the studio and so on and so forth. So all of this stuff that they're talking about or that Chuck D's talking about in this statement, ain't none of this new. Right. Everybody knows this. Flav is constantly absent, or you're constantly trying to get him or wrangle him to get into whatever it is has to be done for Public Enemy. This is nothing new. So it has to go deeper than that. It has to go way deeper than that, because I'm trying to figure out what exactly is Bernie Sanders doing for Public Enemy and or Chuck D? I just ask simple questions. One, this is consistent with Flavor Flav's behavior. One, two, what exactly did Bernie Sanders or is Bernie Sanders going to do for Public Enemy and or Chuck D that has him out of nowhere in 2020 to let the world know 33 years later or more, 40 years later or 45 years later after the formation of Public Enemy as to what exactly is Flavor Flav done? Like what is
JJP? But JJP, look at what Bernie Sanders is doing. It's almost like Pokemon, right? He likes capturing any image that's anti, like kind of fight the power. Because who did he have in his last campaign sitting on his lap? Killer Mike.
Right, he still does.
Right.
Still does. So he likes acquiring the so-called, he's all about symbols. Because if you look at his history, this is a guy, he doesn't pass a whole bunch of crazy laws or whatever as a senator. He's not pushing for his craziness when he's on a lot of communist socialist things when he's he's not acting the way he's acting on his campaign seems a lot more different how he acts on the Senate seat. That's how it just seems to me. You're a guy who signed the 90. You say it. You talk about, I marched with Dr. Martin Luther King, and I was for the. But you signed the '94 crime bill, my guy. And then your reason you gave was that there's a lot of other good things in that bill, including protections for battered women, and he mentioned some other things. So I said, Mr. I marched with Dr. Martin Luther King. Do you think that if you brought up that bill with Dr. Martin Luther King, that those guys would have approved of that? Do you think that if you were so against that, wouldn't you say, all right, let's go back and fix the bill so we don't have the 94 crime bill, but we have protections for battered women and all the other good stuff? Because I think you can do that in bills, right? You can write different bills. You can try to pass on different. Why would you pass on something so punitive and so destructive to so-called black people you marched with, right? This is what I'm talking about. We had a lot of panderers. So what he's doing is acquiring all the icons and symbols that look like we're fighting the power, because nowadays people don't read, people don't want to listen, people don't want to research. So when they see a guy like Bernie Sanders associate himself with Public Enemy, Public Enemy, whoa, fight the power.
That's not just nowadays, though.
I'm just saying for him. It's always been that way. Now there's some guy like in Alabama or whatever, like dancing with black people. It's like they always been doing that. Even Bloomberg, he was I'm sorry about stop and frisk. Once he realized that he lost after he came out, lost it, he probably wiped Lysol all over himself to wash off all the black people that he probably hugged and that stuff. All these racist. I'm just tired. We have to do better research as black people, so-called, whatever you want to call us. We have to stop falling for these panderers who come in and say, you know what he even said? That was so, that guy, I don't want to hit him or anything, but I just hope, he's so annoying. He said, I want marijuana to be legalized so blacks and Hispanics have jobs.
Who's this? Bloomberg or
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders said that.
So this is the same guy.
And also to wipe away people's records and stuff, people that have been arrested and have those arrests on their records and stuff, to have that stuff expunged. But I got a question for you though. Why do we always give a free pass to these dudes with psychotic behavior like Charles Oakley and Flavor Flav? So they just get a pass.
No, they don't.
So they just get. I mean, that's what it is. That's
but the thing is, not that they get a pass, but why are you kicking them out 30 years later? If this was an issue, why
he's kicked out? It shouldn't have been done publicly. You're right, Sam.
No, and listen, I agree. I'm not saying that throwing Flavor Flav away is the answer. What I'm saying is they saw a pattern of crazy type behavior. And we don't know what it is that they did to try to help this guy. You know what I'm saying? Because say, for instance, if y'all knew that was me with that type of behavior, I'm certain that y'all would reach out to me and be like, hey, Big Freezy, man, we heard some stuff. And, we're just concerned. Right. We want to make sure that we make sure your health and welfare is taken care of. It's not like like the Big Freezy that we know. You know what I'm saying?
Triborough brought up a great point. ODB had issues. He was never kicked out the Woo. Right? And to JJP's point, it's not the fact that he got kicked out, but why do it now? And I'm confident that when he came out and said that Bernie was leading, this is Flav said that Bernie was leading a fake revolution. That's when, because again, these guys, they work off of symbols. Bernie Sanders is not necessarily pandering to black people. He's pandering to white people who use black issues as a political stance. Because if all of us voted for one person, say we all voted for Sim to be president, Sim can't be president unless we get the other liberal white people to say that Sim should be president. So that's what Bernie Sanders is doing. That's what Obama did. That's what a lot of these guys do. They're not pandering necessarily to us. They're just pandering to, they want it so that the liberal white people are like, oh, he's dug in with them? Oh, I'm going to vote for him because he's cool with black people and I'm not racist. That's what they do, man. Like, these guys are all jokes. You want to do this to Public Enemy, to Flav? You should have done this when you saw him smoking crack, snorting coke years ago, when your message was a lot tighter. When you had all that militant stuff, it's like, oh, dude, this dude's a crackhead. They knew he was a crackhead back then. So you should have kicked him out and replaced him before he even got hot. It could have given someone else the necklace and doing the whole, in the video. Even though I love when he used to do that stuff because it's just so stupid. But come on, man. This is
what I'm saying is though.
It's political machinations, man. That's all it is. And Bernie Sanders.
But I'm not talking about the 2020 part. I'm talking about like when you saw the dude break out with this weird pattern of like disruptive behaviors and stuff. Why not, do everything you can to get that brother back on
but
track.
Who's to say they didn't?
Right.
Well, they didn't?
Right.
Like a guy like Charles Oakley, his best friend is Jordan. And I'm from what it seemed, because remember Jordan used to always appear with really yellow eyes, like sunken in whatever. So you're talking about two guys who are probably gambling, smoking, drinking, not taking care of themselves. And who's to say Jordan may have been like, yo, bro, we getting older, man. Because now Jordan looks a lot cleaner. Like his face, he looks a lot fresher in terms of his countenance, everything. Maybe he told that to Oakley. Hey, Oakley, oh, bro, come on. And Oakley's probably still living on that. I don't know if he's married or anything, but he might just be still thinking he's a 50-60-year-old bachelor, or not 60, but 50-year-old bachelor, just doing whatever he wants. Maybe people try to talk to him, and maybe, if you're sitting there at a game heckling the owner,
right?
Yes,
relentlessly now.
But you're 50 years old,
right?
You should know better. Me as a 30-year-old, guys as 20-year-olds, guys as in their teens shouldn't be saying, "Hey, have some manners, have some decorum." You may not like the guy. If you don't like the guy, don't go to the game.
Right.
That's it. Some of these guys got to grow up, man. I'm starting to realize as an older guy, man, it's not that guys get mature as they age. A lot of guys are just overgrown children. And they've never had the impetus, they never had the environment around them, the nothing to really make them mature. A lot of us mature because of certain events happen in our lives. We have to grow up. Sometimes unfortunate. Some of these guys, man, a freaking athlete, you give him millions of dollars, he still has a bunch of money, he gets all the women he wants or whatever. He could drink, smoke. Some of these guys never grow up. So,
oh, it's crazy, man. Another one of these groups down. Flavor Flav said, this was the problem. He said, I don't have anything against Bernie. I think he's a good person. I wish him luck. He said, why try to say I'm part of something I'm not a part of? He said, that was all, Chuck D. That's it. Why try to say I'm part of something that I wasn't part of? You know what I mean? And basically it's, because it's Public Enemy. I guess they have the Public Enemy radio where there's like all of their, like they get up there and DJ and just, I don't know what they do. I don't know. And then, so I don't know if Public Enemy radio was supposed to be playing or Public Enemy, but,
When he does I got a letter for the government at a Bernie Sanders rally, with the letter, would it be watermarked by the 94 crime bill, or I'm just wondering, like, how does this work?
Right.
How does
I don't
work?
know, man. It's crazy.
And Sim, you still haven't played any Rock Marciano. This is disgusting, but you know what? We know you're a hater, so it's cool. Guillermo 1, Sim 0, so it's cool. You're gonna close the show, right?
I ain't no hater, huh?
I ain't no hater. I mean, you're a hater because
he's okay. I'm not like a huge fan. I actually got it queued up right here.
That's fine.
You didn't know that.
Huge fan. Rock Marciano's for certain people, man. He
is for certain people. I feel. I think he's like real. Right. I feel like first of all,
JJP, man. Yo, come on, man.
You got that.
Yo, come on. Y'all bugging. Y'all haters, yo.
Why am I hating? I'm not hating on him. He's just not for me. He's all right. Just not for me.
Look, I'm the type of cat, man. I listen to multiple albums and I straight through. I'm old school. I just don't like, pick certain songs. That I let it rock. I let it rock.
Right.
No pun intended.
This guy, yeah, I'm bugging, but y'all listen to Rhapsody. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm gonna make
Guillermo,
Guillermo
have you ever thought
happy.
about maybe your guy is just trash?
Album come out today. That's dope.
There you go, Guillermo. I'm gonna make Guillermo happy.
Oh.
Look, he happy as a mug.
What? This beat.
Okay, it's not just about. I mean, it's a lot of rappers that's garbage and have dope beats.
Money, cars, and clothes. That's all.
You know the way it goes. God bless my soul, I'm a sinner.
You can't even hear it's like skipping in and out.
I was beaten with many stripes, far more than I'd like to remember. My life is like a wild adventure. Cops tried to pinch us, niggas piled up in my mama's central. I had the 9 with the condenser. Your T go from white to magenta when them shots enter. Hit you and left your body bent up. You know the chain of command. If it's for dollars, then we could probably link up. But otherwise, it's unlikely, my nigga. I'm not to be taken lightly, I'm a silent killer. Do me a solid, come suck what's behind the zipper. I steer the ship, I'm the skipper. I don't fish, I'm more Guy Fisher, but just a bit richer. There's no magician that can trick us. No roots, no chickens can spook us, we ain't superstitious. I'm with your bitch in the booth, in the roof, Chris kissing. We slid in the back door and walked through the kitchen. Ass so fat, shit had me tripping like trying to stick raw Strickland. My aura glisten, I shot the ball with the stick from long distance and went off the grid to chill just like a ball.
All right, there we go. There. Guillermo?
No.
What do you mean, no? I played half the joint. I can't. I'm not authorized to play the entire song.
Authorize yourself, man. Yo, Sim, you.
Not authorized to play the entire song, man.
Sim is bugging, yo.
It's vanilla ice cream to me. You know what I'm saying? It's ice cream, but it's vanilla.
Big Freeze is trolling. I don't like this. This is not healthy for your show, Sim. He's trolling.
Guillermo, we always agree. Don't we always agree? Guillermo, we don't always agree, dog. We always agree. We think alike, dog. How you gonna just throw me away? Cause I don't.
You know what? Next show, because I know you're about to leave. Next show, have it so that you play one of Big Freezy's. Somebody he likes that's current. That is like, yo, this is it right here. And JJP, if he comes on, play something from JJP that is like, dude, you gotta, and someone relatively new or somebody that I wouldn't expect.
I'll give you somebody right now. See, I like CJ Fly out of Pro Era.
I like Pro Era.
The Kid Correct.
Yeah.
He got a song on the album called "Grew Up." It's a slow song, but it's dope. It's dope. The beat knocks. He got "Show You." I think the whole album's produced by Static Selector.
Okay.
Yo, so I like some Dreamville stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
So he got Conway's on the album too.
Right.
But the album, from what I heard, from the 3 or 4 songs that I heard, banging.
Right.
And he's from Flatbush, so I have a bias. But yeah, I would say "Grew Up." Listen to CJ Fly, "Grew Up," banging with some bass, on a good sound system, with good headphones.
All right.
You won't regret it.
All right. Well, I'm about to head out of here, man. It's like 2:18.
Word.
Right.
I gotta get up early. I gotta get up 7:30.
Oh man, you crazy.
No?
I gotta get up.
Yeah, I gotta get up. I mean, I'm gonna get up early, but then I'm gonna come back home and take a nap.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be all right, but I'm gonna get up early.
Hey man, entrepreneur life, man. I know what that's like, man.
Yeah, man. But yeah, let me get out of here, man. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me, man.
Yo, salute to you guys in chat. This was fun, man. Peace out, guys.
No doubt. And I'm looking forward to reviewing this Jadakiss album on Friday.
Yes. I already.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I already got the song "Me," so I'm ready to listen to that tomorrow or today.
Yeah, all right, man.
Yeah,
all right.
Hey, Black.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for staying up with me. I'm about to head up out of here. You was live on the front stoop with us. Make sure you catch us on Friday as we check out that Jadakiss album. You know what I'm saying? We're going to review the entire album. We're going to go song for song. And we won't listen to the entire thing, but we're going to go song for song. We're going to break it down. And we'll give it a rating and all of that. It's going to be dope. And then we'll listen to some independent music too. I got a couple of independent tracks that people sent me. We'll listen to it. Oh, follow me on Instagram too. All right. Here's my Instagram. It's @front.stoop. That's my Instagram. Follow me on IG. All right. @front.stoop. All right. Make sure you check me out over there, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys on Friday as we check out this Jadakiss album, man. It's going to be, I'm excited for that one. It's going to be dope, man. Peace.